Yo, what is up? In this video, we're going to cover the meal guide and then substitutions and just understanding like the layout, making those modifications as needed. So I'm going to share my screen here. You can see my millions of tabs open. Let's see if I can put this in present mode. Come on, little puppy. Okay. All right. So I write these for a week at a time. A few reasons for that. It's not because you absolutely have to eat the same thing every day, no matter what, all the time. Typically, what we do is we get into a rhythm where we're eating the same breakfast for like 2 or 3 days in a row. And we have another one that we know is about the same macro numbers, macro goals. And we kind of bounce back and forth between those two things. And then when I get sick of those two things, I switch to my other two things. But in general, the principle is the same: protein, fat, carb every single time. And I'm hanging around that 300 or 400 calorie mark for each meal. So you'll see the macro and calorie breakdown right here. And then you'll be able to swap these out. These numbers are what give you flexibility and freedom. They are also what heals your metabolism and gives you energy. But there's like so many things that hitting macros does for your body and for your mindset. So that kind of explains why I write them the way that I do. If you don't want to think and you just want to do, these are really great to just follow. But if you need the variety, just start learning that right away. So for me, this just cuts down on like the bandwidth, like the amount of energy I have to put into like knowing what's going on. I plan it ahead and then I can put my energy elsewhere, which is great. So in the top corner of a lot of these, if they have a prep video, it'll be here. There'll be a little video for you to track the meal guide. All that is like it's taking each individual breakfast or snack or lunch or whatever, and it's just saving it as a meal, like naming it so that every time you track, it's fast. There's a food scale video because weighing and measuring is key. You don't have to do it forever, but you do have to do it while you're learning and for us to hold you accountable. And for you to take ownership, right? Like this isn't just for us, this is for you, growing and taking ownership, all of this, learning, all that stuff. Um, so yeah, that's the gist behind all of this. So say you didn't want to do this breakfast every single day, you want to rotate. There's a recipe guide in the Facebook group. There's different meal guides you can choose breakfast from. As long as you're hitting your numbers, it really doesn't matter. And then so you can pick a couple to bounce back and forth. If you do eat this same thing every single day, then this grocery list is calculated down to the pound. So you don't have to worry about not having enough of anything, which also saves time and money. So that kind of explains that. So if I was going to make swaps here with this one, like say I didn't like this breakfast, I could go back through and find a different breakfast that I do like that's similar in targets. Or I could go down to the substitutions and I'll talk about how I would build that. Also, some people just don't like to do anything in the morning. You can prep these smoothies ahead of time, which is great. Or you can just grab a shake and be out the door. So say maybe you leave one day without your lunch. You forget your lunch on the counter or your dog eats your lunch. These are things that happen, right? This is life. So how do we navigate that? So attached to each meal guide, you have this page. And it's basically like you could run into this, you could run into a grocery store and get one of each of these and still be on track with your lunch or whatever. You could also order Chipotle, right? It will fit your numbers, but maybe you don't want to do that and you just want to know, how can I hit my numbers still? Run into the gas station, grab a Core Power, grab a banana, and grab a cheese stick or a pack of almonds. Done deal. You're good to go. These are some popular swaps. So if the meal guides ever say like cottage cheese and you don't like cottage cheese, you can just pick one of these, pick a protein source that you like, sub that in. These are some popular protein shakes and yogurts. If you don't like your Greek yogurt, it's because you always need to mix it with something, but these oikos are popular options too. You can also jump over to this page and just pick something off of here. So you're like, I don't like cottage cheese, but I'm going to do a serving of chicken or turkey, or I'm going to do, maybe it's something else you don't like and you're just bored and you're like, I'm going to have 2 ounces of chicken and a half a cup of cottage cheese, right? Like you can mix and match these that way, like half a serving of this one, half a serving of that one. And you can kind of see the macro breakdown here. So that kind of explains substituting and modifying. You've got all kinds of other meal guides to go off of. You can ask in the group chat. These resources are here in each guide or in each meal plan for you to use. Here's a video on how to eat out without blowing your goals, which is amazing. The principle behind this one is like once or twice a week is completely reasonable. And if it's a crazy week and your kids are sick, maybe it's more than that. But track your food. That way you don't have to wonder if you're under, over, whatever. Sometimes people think they overate, they track it, they're like, oh, I'm so way under. Yeah. So you need to eat more now. And before, if you wouldn't have known that, you would have underate this day, right? So the principle underneath this one, though, is to track it. And then the second principle with eating out and this kind of thing is like, don't eat like an asshole. This is what I say. It's like, you know, if you're pushing the envelope or not, you know, if you're eating out too much or not. We all know we feel better when we cook. So don't eat like an asshole. Simple. And if you are, call yourself out in the group and just say, hey, somebody just help me out here, or message your coach. Some quick tips and tricks here. Frequently asked questions. Progress, not perfection. Oh, we have this page in here twice. And then a couple other hacks here. So one of my hacks is to track all my food under breakfast. That's this trick. It's my single best tracking hack. I track all my food under breakfast. And then when I toggle over to the next day for MyFitnessPal, you can swipe right to add breakfast. And then boom, everything that I'm going to eat for that day is there, or the majority of it. Then I'll delete maybe the dinner out and I'll have a different dinner that night. So, but this at least gives you a quick breakdown of how to make substitutions, how to use these meal guides. And as always, use the Voxer chat for questions, support, use your coach for questions and support. And then getting on those Sunday morning calls is always fire and helps start the week with a bang. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. We're excited to have you here. Hopefully this is helpful, and I will see you guys soon.